So let's do something completely different. And I know it looks like maybe I'm starting a new project, and you're probably thinking, when are you going to finish the other projects like the Jaguar, the Tesla Coil, and the Poacher Mercedes, and the Bimota Tessie, and a bunch of other stuff that I'm not even showing on YouTube? Well, I'm not really starting this. It's just that I bought it on eBay a while ago, and I've been very anxious to, I don't want to use the word start, um, to think about starting it, to prepare it for starting. Fine, I'm starting another project. But this one is a little bit different because it's already kind of done. Well, that's not a good word. Somebody attempted and took very bad care of it. And also, as far as all those other projects goes, I'll get them. I'll get to them. I'm actively working on several projects, and they're getting done. My biggest one that I really need to focus on most is the Poacher Mercedes, because again, that is a commissioned build, and I really want to get it done for the guy. But I've been spending the past several hours cutting and sanding and filing and soldering and polishing brass, not all in that order. Um, but I've been working pretty hard on that model for the past several hours. Right now, I am literally waiting for glue to dry, and I need a break from that. So I thought I would start something completely different. Um, but yeah, those other projects, I'll get back to them. And so I just thought I would show you this and start taking it apart so that later I can put it back together. And while you watch me disassemble it, we'll just talk about whatever. And so first off, this is, I don't know if you can see down here, Nichimo? I don't know how to pronounce that. Apparently they've been, I'll call it Nichimo, but apparently they've been around for a really long time, and I've never heard of them. And I kind of feel like maybe I should have known about them. But I was on eBay looking at model kits, as I often do. And I think I was looking at vintage kits or something like that. And I saw a 1/20th scale Hughes 500. This thing was huge and beautiful. And I wanted it, but they wanted a ton of money for it, more than I could justify spending. So I didn't get it, but every once in a while I'll go to eBay and I'll kind of look again. And those Nichimo models, especially that Hughes 500, they don't come up very often. And when they do, they want a ton of money for them. And then I saw this one, and apparently Nichimo makes, I don't know, 3 or 4 different 1/20th scale aircraft. And I saw this one, and it was comparatively cheap. It was relatively cheap compared to the other ones. Usually these aircraft go for a couple of $100. I got this one for 50. I forget. It was a while ago. Let's say 50, give or take a little bit. And you'll see why here in a minute, why it was so cheap. So we'll get the lid off. I believe this is 1/20th scale, and I'm pretty sure it's 1/20th. Yeah, 1/20th. But in the box, we get instructions, which are kind of torn up a little bit. They look like nice, decent instructions. Looks like there's a battery pack. Look like it does. It does spin the prop with an electric motor. So the instructions look decent. It'll be nice to actually start this for real and build it with all of my knowledge on these airplanes, which I do have knowledge on these airplanes. For those of you who don't know, I am a licensed A&P technician, which means I have a license from the FAA to work on airframes and power plant. And I have a few years experience working on smaller single engine Cessnas and Pipers and Moonies and stuff like that. Don't know what that is. Wow, look at this. This also includes a free blueprint for, what is that? I guess a rubber band powered. I don't know. That was cool. That's thrown in there free. Don't think I'll be making that, but that's kind of cool. And a cutout of some people. I guess they're the passengers. But yeah, so anyways, I do have experience on the real aircraft. And here it is. It's fairly big. It doesn't really even fit in the box that well anymore. Things are flopping loose. These wires aren't, those aren't on the real airplane. I don't know. I don't know if he had those connected. Yeah, it looks like they come down the side here and run forward. Yep, right up there. Right up there. And to the motor. And let me take a few measurements here. So we got a wingspan of 21.5 inches. Front to back about 15 inches. The landing gear are fairly flat. That wouldn't work very well. So I'm going to have to fix that. Notice it's very yellowed. I don't know what happened here. Almost looks like paint. I don't know. Elevator's fallen off. Looks like the flight control surfaces can move. That's kind of cool. Probably a spring in there. Now, since we're talking about Cessnas, one thing you'll notice when you look at the flap or aileron of a Cessna, you notice those little ribs in there like that. And the reason why it's like that, if you look at the sheet metal that those control surfaces were made from, so let me get a marker here. The sheet metal is kind of folded, so it has a, like this. So it's kind of folded like that. And so you take the bottom and the top and bottom skins and you rivet them together and you get a trailing edge that looks like that, all along the trailing edge. So if you could look at, like again, the trailing edge here, you would see that diamond pattern. And those little ridges are bent in there to keep the sheet metal stiff and to add some structure to the sheet metal. But that trailing edge leaves that diamond pattern. And there's a running joke with in the Cessna world, and that's you know how to tell a Cessna pilot. Well, you'll see that pattern across his forehead, because if you're not paying attention when you're walking behind the airplane and you duck down to get inside, well, if you don't duck low enough, you're going to smash your forehead on that trailing edge, and you're going to have that diamond pattern imprinted on your forehead. And I always just thought that was kind of a joke, but a few years ago, I was at a grocery store buying groceries, as people often do, and I see this old guy walking down the aisle towards me, and he had, I kid you not, he had that pattern on his forehead, and it looked fresh. I came this close to looking at him and pointing and saying, "You're a Cessna pilot?" But it looked fresh. I didn't know if he was sensitive about it. Here's the pilot figures that were on that card before. Somebody did a decent job of painting these people up. Don't know if I like that shade of lipstick on him, but yeah, whatever. Got a bag of other parts in here. Wow, just a whole bunch of loose parts. It wouldn't surprise me if half of this stuff didn't even go with this model. Give that to my kids to play with later. And little storage bin. Looks like engine part maybe. Half a tire. Again, I have no clue if this actually goes with this model or not. I would assume it does. Here's some naked people. No, they're not naked, they're just not painted. So, I don't know if I'll be using them or not. Here's a wheel that should probably be attached. Don't know what that is. Oh, there's a decal. Looks like a pretty decent shape. Pretty good decal there. And some more decals that look pretty good. Looks like a firewall. Not sure why it's not in there. That's weird. I think these are for the batteries, to hold the batteries. Got some wire with some little light bulbs. Ooh, a paintbrush with no bristles. That'll come in handy. Little horn. I didn't know Cessnas had horns. Okay. Let's see. Little nameplate. Just a bunch of little small pieces. Not sure if that's a connector or a switch. Just a bunch of small, oh, here's, okay, so I got both, oh, I got all three wheels, that's good. So I got all three wheels, the two mains and the nose. I did not see, oh, there it is. I was going to say I didn't see a nose gear leg, but it's sticking out the bottom there. So I'll have to fix the gear legs because they're obviously busted up. I got a bunch of these little plastic containers. I'm not sure what those are all about. Don't know if they're part of the kit. Got some little plastic bushings. Just a bunch of loose random stuff. I guess as I go through the directions, it'll get sorted out. But what I wanted to start doing here was disassembling this. Bunch of other small pieces there. I wanted to start disassembling this so that later, at a future date, I can start putting it together and build this thing up. And got some yellowing, some gluing on the windows. And I just thought maybe you'd like to see me take this apart while I just talk about stuff. I don't know. If you don't like to hear me talk, just turn the volume down and put the player on like 1.5 times speed, and or just skip it. I don't care. I mean, you're here. Okay, so like I was saying before, man, this is glued together really well. It's going to be hard taking this apart without breaking everything. But I don't think I can make it any worse than it already is. Some of those decals are just flaking off. But as I was saying before, I found this because I was looking for the Hughes 500. And what I would like to do, if I could ever find one, see if I could find the Hughes 500 that's in this kind of shape, that I could get it for less than $100, I will do that. If any of you have one that you would like to sell me for less than $100, hook me up in the comments. I don't really care what kind of condition it's in. If it's fallen apart or broken, that's fine. Because taking stuff apart and rebuilding them, buying them on the cheap, is what I do. So anyways, I had to pause the video just for a second because I got a phone call from my auto shop because my car is in the shop with some transmission issues. So hopefully that's not going to be too bad. But anyways, as I was saying, I really want the 120 to scale Hughes 500. And if any of you have one, again, I don't care what kind of condition it's in, you're willing to sell it, hit me up in the comments, we'll work something out. Because what I would really like to do with that Hughes 500, I used to watch, man, I just drew a blank on the show, Magnum PI. I used to watch Magnum PI. And some of you may remember a Hughes 500. I think it was a Hughes 500. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it was a Hughes 500 in Magnum PI, and I cannot remember. It's been a few years since I've seen it, so, you know, give me a break. I can't remember the guy who flew it, the pilot. But I really like the paint scheme on that Hughes 500. The brown with the orange and yellow stripes, which is very 70s, reminiscent to 70s. And I showed a picture of that to a colleague at work a while ago, and he thought I was completely nuts. He thought it was the ugliest thing he's ever seen, but I like it. So if I ever get, man, they really glued that stuff together well, I tell you what. If I ever get that, that's what I'm going to do. This might be a very boring video if I can't get anything to break apart. See if I can just start cutting in this way. And I think when I put this back together, what I might do is stick the cowlings on with magnets so they could just pop off. Because they, I didn't think this video through very well. Because that is not going to come off very well. Let me see if I can get the wings before I actually break them. But, I need to find out what kind of glue they used. Because that is very well held on. Probably a solvent glue. So the plastic is melted and then refused together. There's that one. It'll require a little bit of body work. That must have just been inside. That was a little hood cowling, and that was off earlier. So that must have just been sitting inside. I know what I want to try. I want to see if that motor works with the propeller. Nothing there. Let's up the voltage. Nope. Nothing. So the motor doesn't work. So anyways, as I was saying earlier, I used to work on what we would call GA aircraft, which is just stuff like this. Piston engine, private pilot kind of stuff. And one day, there was a Cessna 172 RG. RG means retractable gear. So the gear legs would swing up inside and they kind of pivot back this way up inside here. And they were coming into land and the left gear leg would not come down and lock. So they were circling for a while trying to figure out what to do. Of course, the news crews were alerted and all the news crews are there watching them just kind of circle around. And they decided the best thing to do was just suck all the other two gear legs up and just come in on its belly. They figured that would be the safest thing instead of landing with one gear leg down and one gear leg up. And they came in, slid in on its belly, obviously tore up the belly of the airplane, damaged the propeller, and that was about it. So it was my shop that went out to retrieve the airplane off the runway. So we had to jack it up, manually pull the gear leg down. Now once we manually pulled the gear leg down, it locked into place. And there's the windshield. I'm glad that did not break. I was worried about that breaking, so that's good. That's okay. And I was on the tug. The tug is just a tractor that pulls airplanes. I was on the tug that brought it back to our shop. And of course, we had to drive right by all the news crews. And my mom called me that night, said she saw me on TV. So that was my 10 minutes of fame. And me and one other guy. This shop I worked at, there was only 6 of us that worked there, and 3 of them owned the place. And some of the guys had their specialty, and one guy's specialty was sheet metal. So they gave him, he was the lead on doing that sheet metal repair, and I got to help him. Sheet metal is not my strong point. I can do it, but it's definitely not my stronger area. But it was nice getting to help him. And so me and him, I guess I should say he and I, re-skinned the belly of that airplane. Basically, we cut off from about that much right there. Removed all that skin off the bottom, put fresh aluminum down, put it all back together, painted it. Obviously, we had to repair the gear leg, and we had to take the engine off, get it inspected, and get a new propeller on it. But that was one of the funner jobs I did there, even though it was sheet metal. I learned a lot from it. I have a feeling it's just going to break. It's like they didn't glue it here, but that is really stuck on the other half. And I don't want to break any more than I have to. I fully anticipate some of this breaking, but again, I don't want to do any more than I have to. But man, that is really stuck on there. If any of you have any good tips, now again, if it's solvent, what a solvent does, solvent melts the plastic and it refuses together as like one piece. There's really nothing you could do with that except just cut through it. If it was like CA or some other type of super glue, there are probably solvents that will soften that up. But that could also melt the plastic. Like if I used acetone, that would melt the plastic. So I have a feeling that on this one, I bet you they used a solvent type of glue. And I'm going to do my best to not stab myself. That did not even do anything. What I might have to do is just go ahead and break that. I was really hoping when I started this video, I was really hoping that this thing would just kind of fall apart. Because it looks like, what was that? It looks like it should just fall apart. So what I'm doing here, I'm just trying to score the plastic so that I can just break this wing off. And that's not how I wanted it to break. But it is fixable. I promise you. I lost my window. The little window popped out. That's right here. Little window did not break. Since that's flat, that would be easy to make a new one anyways, so I wasn't too concerned about that. But all of this stuff that's breaking is fixable. That's the nice thing about plastic. Plastic is very fixable. I'm not concerned about those broken pieces at all. Get that other window out of there. And if I could split the fuselage down the middle, would be nice. Actually, it would be really nice is if I could get all those windows out. Here's that door. That door is already about to fall out. I don't want to break the door hinge. This kit actually has a lot of nice detail in it. I can see why they're a little bit pricey, because there's some really nice detail. But even that piece holding that hinge on is not cooperating. There we go. But the instrument panel looks pretty well detailed. And going back to what I was saying before about starting projects, one thing about me I've noticed is that, you know, most other people, they get all of their joy, well, project related, they get all of their joy from finishing a project. You know, you have an idea for a project, so you start it, and you stick with it until it's done because you want to see the finished result. You want to see the finished product. And I get that. I understand that. I wish I was like that, but I'm not. I get all of my joy and pleasure from starting a project because I will have an idea for a project. And I'll be thinking, how do I do that? So I start it, and as soon as I'm about halfway done, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I can see it, I can visualize it, I'm happy, I'm satisfied. And I'm thinking about my other project, I'm thinking about my next project. So that's why I typically will have several projects going, several projects started, because to be honest with you, to just work on one, I get a little bit bored. And I can't stay with it until it's done before I move on to the next project. I've got to just start that next project that's on my mind. You know, the other door hinge is broken, and this one is not wanting to come out. There it went. And again, like I said, plastic parts are easy to fix. But there's the other door, so I got two doors out, and that's the piece that was going over the hinge, holding the door hinge in. That'll be easy to fix. So, and I understand that for a YouTuber, that's not really the best thing to do, because you, the viewer, you know, most viewers want to see finished projects. And I understand that. I get it. So I've noticed that, you know, every once in a while I'll go look at my what do you call it, stats, my YouTube information, like how many subscribers I have. And when I first started this, I wasn't thinking about how many subscribers I'll get. That wasn't even a thought, like getting all these subscribers. But every once in a while I'll look at it and I'll see the number and how many I have. And then a few days later I'll look at it and there are usually one or two more, but every once in a while there's one less. So I'm like, okay, I lost a subscriber. And oh, I got a story to tell you about. One that I just lost. man, I'm upset. I'm really, I don't know how I'm going to carry on after I lost the subscriber here. He made sure I knew that I lost him. So I'll talk about that here in just a second. And I want you guys to let me know if I'm the jerk. But I'll get back to that here in a second. But anyways, I fully understand how I lose subscribers on occasion. For one, because I do finished projects. You go back and look at all my videos, you'll see plenty of finished projects. But it takes me a while. It takes me a while to get a project done. So if somebody gets tired of waiting for me to get a project done and they unsubscribe, that's fine. I don't care. And also, my channel is a lot of random stuff. I mean, if you go back and look at all my videos, it's mostly static display plastic models. But I do a lot of 3D printing stuff. A few years ago, I did a lot of RC car stuff. I did that stupid wooden mouse replica of the first computer mouse. I did the Bynaview, which was a mechanical electrical project thing, you know. So my videos they're random. They range from static display to electrical to mechanical to 3D printed. Years ago, I had some RC car stuff. So I fully understand that, like, if somebody sees the RC car video and they're like, oh, cool, an RC car guy, an RC car channel. So they subscribe, and then the next several videos after that is like 3D printing robot figures. Of course they're going to unsubscribe. And again, I understand that. I get it. It does not bother me. But anyways, so what happened kind of recently, somebody left a comment on the, there we go, now we're making progress, on the Poacher Mercedes build, and he has left numerous comments, and those hinges are just springs, which one of them's already broke. I know that other one's going to break any moment now. I got plenty of springs, so we'll just go ahead and take that off. I'll replace the springs later, or maybe I'll just put a normal hinge in it instead of having little floppy springs on it. Which they work. They're just kind of weird, but they work. But anyways, this individual has left me several comments on the Jaguar build and on the Mercedes build. And his comments are generally nice, usually nice. But yet they have this underlying tone of, what's the word I'm looking for? Of, like for example, he'll say something like, good job, but this little thing was wrong. Or good job, but why didn't you do it the right way? One of my Poacher videos that I did years ago, the first Mercedes I did, he left a comment and he said, I thought that radiator grill looked crooked. Good job anyways, though. And it's like, I don't know. It's just the whole tone. And I know it's hard to read a tone from a typed text, but the whole tone sounds very condescending, almost like, what's it called? A backhanded compliment. Kind of like that. And I'm just like, well, maybe I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. So I'm thinking he's probably not purposefully trying to be like that. So I would reply back and say, thanks, appreciate the comment. And he's also given me lots of advice on different things. And I have always thanked him for his advice. I have, for example, with gluing the leather seats onto the Poacher models, I was using CA, and he left a comment and told me that there's this other stuff. I got to look at the comment again. Wood bond? Something like that. He said it works better. And I said, cool, thanks. I'll keep that in mind the next time I start doing leather work, which I plan on trying it. I mean, I obviously have not tried every single kind of adhesive that there is. So if somebody suggests another one that I've never heard of, and he says it's better, well, why would I not try it? If he's wrong, then, you know, no big deal. I tried it, now I know. But if he's right, then I have another product that I can use. So that's typically how he was. But in one of the last videos of the Poacher, I was talking about making chrome trim for the side of the car. And I said I was going to cut it out of brass and have it chrome plated. Well, he commented and said that he contacted this guy, and there's another company that makes parts. I've mentioned them before. These guys right here, Model Motor Cars, run by this guy Marvin. And I've spoken with Marvin on the phone. I've ordered tons of stuff from this guy before. Well, so anyways, this commenter said that he contacted some guy that works with Marvin and asked about the chrome trim on the side of the car. And he told me that this guy told him that he and Marvin tried it, but the chrome would distort, or the brass would distort during the chrome plating process. And so they kind of gave up. They quit doing it. And I'm thinking, that doesn't sound right. Because, I mean, I'm not a chrome plater. I don't know everything about chrome plating. But I didn't think that chrome plating would heat up the parts, like brass, hot enough that they would warp. So it didn't sound right, but I didn't know. So I contacted Marvin and asked him. He said that he had never had any problems with brass distorting during chrome plating. So he doesn't know what the other guy was talking about, what he was referring to. And I called the people that I'm going to use for the chrome plating. I called them and I said, hey, there was some discussion about an issue of brass warping during the chrome plating process. And they told me, no, it doesn't do that. They said, no, they've never had any issues with brass warping while being chrome plated. And I'm thinking, okay, that makes sense. That's what I thought. So I commented back to the guy and I just told him that I contacted Marvin and my chrome plater, mentioned the issues that he suggested, and told him what they said, that there's no issue, and that I'm going to go ahead and just have them chrome plated. Well, apparently that really offended him. He replied back, starts telling me how apparently you're what do you say, strong-minded or set in your ways or something like that, unwilling to take advice, unwilling to take help. And he goes, I can't help you, unsubscribe. And I'm like, what the heck? So I replied back. And here's where, if any of you want to, if any of you feel like it, go to the video. It's one of the last videos I did of the Poacher Mercedes. It's one where I'm talking about getting the hood panels fit to prepare them for chrome, for the chrome strips. And read the comments. There it went. The commenter's name is Crate Cruncher? Crate Cruncher. I think it's Crate Cruncher. And read his comments, read my comments. And I basically, when I replied to him, I said something like, man, what did I say? I said, so, oh, he mentioned to me, he goes, I was only telling you what somebody told me. And I replied back and I'm like, and I'm only telling you what they told me. So I said, haven't I always thanked you for your comments in the past? Haven't I always replied back to your comments and thanked you for your advice and thanked you for your feedback? And one time that I take the advice of professionals instead of from you, you're going to act like this, then fine, you won't be missed. Good luck in life, or something like that. So those gear legs are held on with a metal strip. That's nice, but they were bent up, so hopefully I can pull that out and rebend it or something. But yeah, the gear legs, hopefully fixable. Well, yeah, they're fixable. Hopefully easily fixable. But anyways, so yeah, if any of you wanted to go back and read those comments, let me know if I'm the jerk. I don't know. I don't think I am. I'll light that up for sure. But let me know if I'm the jerk. And be honest, I don't care. Because again, it's hard to read a tone when it's being typed. Maybe he misunderstood my tone. Maybe my original tone was "you're wrong, so screw you" or whatever. I don't know. But and maybe my response back, maybe I just should not have replied back. Maybe I should have just dropped it and let it go. So maybe what I said back was kind of jerky. So let me know if you think I was a jerk or not. If you do, I mean, I'll apologize. But, I'll apologize now. I don't care. Yeah, that propeller is really stuck on there. I tried pulling it off a few times earlier, but that propeller is not coming off. Man. I don't know how they stuck that propeller on, but it is not wanting to budge. But I am more than willing to take someone's advice if they know something I don't. And that's why I called the two professionals, because I wasn't sure. I didn't know. So I called the people who do know. And I went with what they said instead of what Crate Muncher said. So anyways, I'm over it. And honestly, if he's the jerk, then maybe I don't want subscribers like that. My whole point of my channel is to just have fun building stuff. You know, if somebody doesn't like what I'm doing, they don't have to subscribe. If you don't like the fact that I don't finish a project every video, then feel free to not subscribe. And one thing that I'm pretty sure about, I don't think I have ever asked anybody to subscribe. And I was watching Bad Chad this morning, and that's a nice looking engine. See, it's a shame you can't even see the engine. So I'm gonna, when I redo this, I'm gonna have this set in with magnets or something. It'll be able to take the cowling off so you can see the engine. But anyways, so I was watching Bad Chad. If you don't know who Bad Chad is, check him out on YouTube. Man, this guy's an artist with cars, real cars, not model cars. He's got like a junkyard in his backyard, and all of these old, like 1930s, whatever, Chevys, Chryslers, whatever. He'll go dig the stuff out of the junkyard and put them back together into just works of art. And he like puts a video out like almost every day, if not every day. But his work is just absolutely incredible. So check out Bad Chad. But anyways, in his video I was watching today, he said that, and his girlfriend Jolene, she does all the camera work. She's behind the camera, and every once in a while she'll help, and she does some of the welding and stuff on the cars, which is kind of cool. But he said that Jolene told him that most YouTubers will start off by saying, make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell notification. And then he said, I'm not there yet. It doesn't feel right. And I agree with him 100%. I don't think I've ever told anybody to subscribe or leave a like or a comment. I appreciate when you do. And I know that's the norm for all YouTubers. Not all, most YouTubers. I know that's the norm. But it kind of bugs me a little bit when they do that, because it's like, if I like your content, I'll subscribe. I'm not going to subscribe because you tell me to. And And I just don't feel right telling you guys to make sure you subscribe. You know how YouTube works. If you like what I'm doing, you'll subscribe. And if you don't like what I'm doing, then don't subscribe. That's you do what you want. I'm not going to be upset if you don't subscribe. I will definitely appreciate it if you do. And I appreciate comments. I appreciate positive comments. If you're going to leave a comment just to say I suck, well, that's, I guess, freedom of speech. That's your choice. You can do that if you want. And I'll probably just reply back and say thanks for your opinion. Anyways, for those of you who are subscribed, thank you. I appreciate you. For those of you who leave nice, constructive feedback, and you don't have to like what I'm doing, but be nice about it. But anyways, I appreciate all, well, most comments. I realize that I'm never going to be a huge YouTuber with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I've got a normal real job, 9 to 5. I don't need YouTube to support me. That's why I don't run ads. Somebody said, YouTube are putting ads on your videos anyways, you might as well get paid for them. And that is tempting, but I think if I go ahead and do the ads, then I don't know how that works exactly. Because the ones they put on now, you can skip. If I start putting ads on, I don't know if they're still skippable or if they'll just be more ads. But I don't like ads when I'm watching videos, so I don't want to bombard you guys with ads that I put on my videos. I appreciate other YouTubers who have to because YouTube is their business, their livelihood. But for me, it's just a hobby. And man, that is really stuck on there good. Some parts just fall right off. It's a nice looking engine. That was the cover there. There's a lot of detail in the engine and the mount, but it all gets covered up in the end. A little LED for the landing light, or taxi light. But I feel like I need to end this video soon because it's probably way too long and kind of a different video, I guess, because I'm not really saying much about what I'm actually doing. I'm just talking about whatever pops into my little mind. Speaking of other YouTubers I like watching, there's, and you know, I feel like I'm addicted to watching YouTube. There's so much stuff out there. It's amazing what people do. And since I consider myself a builder or a maker, I like watching channels that also builds or makes stuff. And that rudder flapping around is driving me nuts. See if we can pop that off here. See if we can pop that rudder off. There we go. Rudder's off. Will that elevator horizontal come out? Yeah. We'll leave that for now. But so anyways, I like watching channels that build stuff. For example, Crimson Guitars. If you've never seen Crimson Guitars, check out his channel. Now, I don't play guitar. I will more than likely never learn how to play guitar. I will never build a guitar. I shouldn't say never. I will more than likely never build a guitar. But I cannot stop watching this guy build guitars. His craftsmanship is just absolutely phenomenal. The stuff he does with wood and inlays and carvings is just absolutely phenomenal. So Crimson Guitars, definitely check them out. And I'm sure there's plenty of others. I'm not trying to discount or ignore any of the others. But he's just the one that I started watching. And boats, Acorn to Arabella. These guys, they're up in Massachusetts, Connecticut. I don't know. They're up there somewhere. I forget exactly where they're at. They're building a sailboat from pretty much ground up. They went out and harvested. Yep, that broke. I knew that was going to happen. Again, easily fixable. But this guy's grandfather or great-grandfather, you can tell how well I pay attention, planted a whole bunch of trees out on all this acreage. And so now he's going out and harvesting these trees and building a boat. And it's just absolutely mind-boggling what they're doing. Their craftsmanship is incredible. There's also Samson Boat Company. Now he's restoring a boat, but they're restoring it, but there's not much left of the original boat. This thing's a 110, 112-year-old sailboat that they're restoring. And again, their woodworking skills, their craftsmanship is just absolutely incredible. Again, I will more than likely never build a boat, but I can't stop watching these guys work on or build this boat. There's the instrument panel, and there's the motor right in here. And we got the wires to the motor. That motor seems really, surely that motor's not that long. That shaft has got to come down. Yeah, that's got to be a shaft through the engine. Yeah, because the front of the motor is right there. So that propeller is connected to a shaft that goes all the way through and then connects to that. And I still cannot pull that propeller off of the shaft. So I'm going to figure that out. Probably not in this video. I think this is a part enough to where when it's ready to actually start working on it, I'll be able to do something with this. But that looks pretty good. A lot of nice detail in this thing. And whoever put it together, used some really nice glue. Again, probably a solvent, I'm sure. We'll get these wires out of there. I don't think that's how the original kit was supposed to be, with the wires coming out of the top. Maybe he was going to have it hang from the ceiling, which isn't a bad idea. Have the wires come out of the top to hang it from the ceiling. That's a pretty good idea. Oh, the seats actually, that's nice. I didn't know they did that. Very cool. Very cool. This should pull out. Should. Come on. There we go. There's the other gear leg. Yeah, that should be bent, not straight. And I don't know if I want to pull the interior out right now. It seems to be stuck in there pretty well. Maybe just if I clip right in here. But yeah, Acorn to Arabella, Samson Boat Company, and SV Seeker, Sailing Vessel Seeker. This guy made a 75-foot steel sailboat in his backyard in Tulsa, Oklahoma, from scratch. Started it, I don't know, 10 years ago. Absolutely incredible. He finally got it in the water about a month ago, maybe. And man, you gotta watch that. Just absolutely amazing what this guy did. But yeah, so any channel, YouTuber channel, where they build stuff, they make stuff, and they have good craftsmanship, that's what I watch. That's what I enjoy watching. And I'm always like plugging these guys like at work, telling my colleagues and coworkers and clients about these other YouTubers, just because I think people's creativity and craftsmanship should be shared. That's why they're on YouTube. So when I find somebody who does good work, I like to share it with other people. And That's probably not going to come out with a few bad words, and this is a family-friendly channel. They glued that right onto where the landing gear post goes in, which is good structurally, but it's bad for me. I'm going to have to get in there with a nice sharp blade and maybe a little hammer tap in there to try to cut that. But that's the only thing holding this interior in. But I think you can see the interior here. Again, the seats fold forward. I think what I would like to do is maybe actually cover that with leather, maybe? That might be too small for that. I don't know. I don't know. This will be a fun little project when I actually get to start it. But for now, it's just going back in the box. And I would like to get that out, just so things can lay flat. Same with this one. I would like to get this out without breaking the whole tail off. There we go. And so I'm going to have to get all those decals off. If anybody, oh, that's just scraping off. I bet I could just stick some tape on there and peel it off. But if anybody knows, good, the windows just pop right out. So whatever glue they used did not bond well with the windows, which is good, because that means I can get them out without breaking them. Maybe. There we go. So there's one of the back windows, and see if that other one will just kind of pop out here. Yeah, is it cracking? I don't know. Maybe I'll work on this one later. I say that as I keep working on it. Yep, it just cracked. So I'll have to remake those. That just cracked. So anyways, yeah, a little bit of a different, I didn't even look at the wings. They're just in the top and bottom half. I might just leave them glued together. I mean, there's no point in taking them apart, except for if I wanted to redo the hinges. Yeah, I don't know. I might redo the flap hinges. Aileron hinges aren't too bad. But anyways, so yeah, like I said, little bit of a different video now. I just needed a break from the other projects. I just wanted to talk about stuff, and I was really anxious to break into this, quite literally break into this, and see what all the parts look like. Let's see what the interior look like. See what the engine look like. And so now I've got a pretty good. I got my mind wrapped around this. I can start thinking about how I want to do different things. And now it'll go back on the shelf in the closet until I get some of my other projects wrapped up and done. And then I'll pull it back out and I'll start cleaning it up and rebuilding it the right way. I plan on having all the lights working. The nav lights, anti-collision lights, maybe even some dome lights inside. Instrument lighting, maybe, I don't know. Would be kind of cool. But cool kit, cool project. And I had to get it out of my system. So, for those of you who stuck around to the end, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you putting up with my rambling on and on about whatever. And as always, until next time, thanks for watching.